Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. I am your host, as always, Chad. Joining me is Marcus. Marcus, how the heck are you?
Good man. Back for some TNA goodness question mark.
That's fair. So I got NXT on in the background, right? Just because I'm in my basement, I don't have cable, and the TV that I get any reception on that with the digital airwaves is this one. Like I could be watching something on Netflix, on my smart TV. But I'm watching TV. I like to have someone in the background, right? And I noticed that all the shots of Full Sail are like practically every other like small budget minor league TV show. Like you see these things on on TNA like circa 2021, right? It really does kind of show you how limited the budget is for NXT, and I think that says a lot about what you can expect from this brand going forward. Oh, look, Triple H. We just had to see Triple H on NXT. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, and Tyler Breeze is back. I don't know. It feels like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel here. The NXT of it all is going to have an impact on TNA, unfortunately. They're going to be all over Bound for Glory. Main event, right here, you can see it. It's going to be Trick Williams versus Mike Santana in Massachusetts. The arch rival of New York City, the city Mike Santana is from. So you
Yeah.
have a dude who's born and bred New Yorker, right? From the Bronx. Long Island, I think, is where they were at for Slammiversary. Had a massive ovation. Everyone came out. And then you're going to move that dude to Boston, where they hate New Yorkers. I don't think you thought this through. And then you're going to have him face off with Trick Williams, who's currently in a program with Johnny Gargano and
Also
Tommaso
champ.
Ciampa, and they brought back what's his name? That's
Carmelo
Swerve.
Hayes.
Yeah, Carmelo Hayes, not Swerve. Carmelo Hayes. So you bring back Carmelo Hayes, and you're gonna do. I think it's the tag team main event tonight. I think it's a mid card feud on the C show, and this dude is gonna main event TNA's Bound for Glory. Dude who hasn't had one good match in TNA. Could have just had, I don't know, Joe Henry lose the belt to Mike Santana at some anniversary and never got Trick or who was the chick that I already forgot it existed when they had Knockouts title?
Oh, you
JC
talking about
Jane? Is
JC James?
that who that is? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. I mean, you booking it. Have him win the title, become the world champion in his home city. Uh, on one of the biggest nights in the company. Or have him finally become champion, not in his home city, but also become the champion uh, and essentially saving the title by bringing it back home.
I don't get what they're doing though. Like we don't need to have this bullshit. Then you have Ash defeat JC Jane. Ash by Elegance is one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen. And I've wanted to like Dana Brooke for so long. I really have. But we're lying to ourselves here about talent. And then she's going to face off with Indy Hartwell, arguably the worst wrestler I've ever seen as a full-time knockouts. I'm not counting Charmel or Jenna Morasco. I'm not counting celebrities who got in the ring. I'm not counting managers or valets who got in the ring. She is arguably the worst female wrestler I've ever seen, let alone in the WWE, let alone in TNA. And they're going to give her a knockout title shot. She had the worst match of the year at Slammiversary with Tessa Blanchard. 20 minutes and terrible to watch. boring. And they're gonna have her win the belt at Bound for Glory. Are we sure that this company's being booked by people who understand wrestling? Because I'm not. I'm not sure that they know what they're doing. So that's not all we got here. First and foremost, we don't have anything for Joe Hendry yet. He's likely leaving the company at the end of the year. We don't have anything for Leon Slater yet. We do have something for the Hardy Boys. It's going to be Matt and Jeff Hardy versus TNA Hall of Famers Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley, aka Bully Ray and Devon Team 3. It could be interesting. It's going to be a tables match. So we don't have to, worry about too many concussions from steel chairs or anyone doing anything stupid off of the top of a ladder. That's dope. But on the flip side, I don't know what Devon and Bully Ray can do at their ages. Devon, I think, was recovering from a stroke. And Bully Ray, I think it was 2019, was basically revealed to not being able to take any more shots to the head for fear of concussions. So I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be getting out of this match. Before we go back to this, I got to point something out. Again, NXT. Fatal Attractions. I don't know the difference in gimmicks between Fatal Attraction, Toxic Influence, or any of these other three-woman groups that have been dominating NXT's airwaves. They're all the same generic thing. I don't get that. I don't understand it, and I probably never will.
I think I think the narrative is humpable but not bookable.
Well, that describes Shawn Michaels' booking in a nutshell. Like every chick has to have her ass in a shot. Now listen, it's good money if you can. But it also kind of, one dimensionifies your roster. It's a solo initiative here, which is wild because they got fucking Delta. I don't know what eified name she's been given, but Delta is badass. And they found a way to take all the badassery she had out of her whole shtick. But I
Oh
digress.
yeah.
I digress. So we have three matches that are officially announced: Indy Hartwell versus either Ash by Elegance or Masha Slamovich. We have Team 3D versus the Hardys. The Hardys, excuse me, are the tag team champions, but the tag team titles have not been announced as being part of this match. And then we have TNA World Champion Trick Williams taking on Mike Santana. It's not a great card. It's not. If Masha beats Ash, there's a chance she'll beat Indy, but who knows? But there is a fourth match that has been semi-announced or will be announced, and I'm excited for it to an extent. But they've kind of miffed this whole booking process for this year as well. It's going to be Order 4 that has 5 individuals taking on the system in a 10-person hardcore war. So it's going to be Moose, Eddie, Alicia, Brian Myers, and JDC taking on Mustafa, Tasha Steeles, Jason Hodgson, John Schuyler, and Agent Zero. Um, I'm intrigued by this. I thought you had the perfect opportunity to do some type of lethal lockdown situation here, or like something different or new, or even just borrow from another, like do the Cage of Death, the old CZW staple. Do that. Do your own version of
Yeah,
that. That'd be fun.
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thinking about it with the matches you lined up, unless like the Hardys and Dudley Boys drink like the special stuff from Space Jam, like actual special stuff and not water, and like first the clock back 20 years, unless Trick magically gets skills we've not seen from him really ever, but maybe a glimpse of a few times. That might actually be the match of the card.
Yes. I agree. I agree completely. Um, we're still kind of left in a bit of a pickle, if you will, as to what we're doing with everyone else. Um, what's? Oh no, I'm sorry. We have one more match that I know is happening. I apologize. I did remember that there's another match. Just escaped me. It's going to be Steve Macklin defending the international championship against Frankie Kazarian. That could be fun. I'm not a Macklin
Yeah,
guy, and Frankie's 49. I don't think I'm being facetious when I say that. That could be a lot of fun in all earnestness. Uh,
yeah, they could bang that. That might open the show.
yeah, but that leads us into some intriguing options. Like, what's Joe Hendry doing? Joe Hendry hasn't
Yeah,
wrestled in TNA in over a month. He last wrestled Mustafa Ali. He did not wrestle in TNA at all in August. That's disconcerting.
I was gonna say to you because we don't know what's gonna happen in the end of the year. We got strong assumptions that he's gonna leave because essentially, like we said, it's felt like a long term job interview that he's already gotten, just kind of waiting on technicalities. But would you turn him heel, and would that even work with everything that you got between the song and the stupid smile, almost to come off like when Shawn Michaels lost his smile type of deal with him? But he needs something else.
Now, that's an interesting question. I don't know if you would turn him heel, frankly. I do know that there is a genuine question to be asked. Would you have him lose to Leon Slater? Because I think then you have yourself an intriguing conversation. I think you could really ask yourself, like, hey, this could be a realistic opportunity. We could do something interesting. I don't think you're going to do Cedric versus Slater again. The Nemeths don't have any matches, but who would you put them with? The Rascals aren't on the card yet. Jake Something's not on the card yet. So Trick and not sorry, not Trick. AJ and Rich Swan are on the card yet. You have a lot of your top guys still available to fill out this card. The question is going to be, who exactly are you going to pair with who? Because there's a lot of concerns here that I have about what direction we're going in with this whole deal. Because it's not good enough that you just take the belt off of JC Jane or you take the belt off of Trick. You actually have to find the right guys to put the belts onto. Didn't they do a live show last week?
I want to say that they did.
Yeah, they did it last week. Heard absolutely nothing about this. Not great. Let's see. Got the adults. Cardona and Kazarian. Cardona hasn't been booked for anything yet. We have Daniel and Jordy Threats building feud.
About Jake too, all right?
Yeah, Jake something hasn't been used yet. So I let's write down what we know, right? Okay, so we know the main event's gonna be TNA World Trick the Champ versus Santana. We know there's gonna be a potential World Tag Title match versus the Hardys. Maybe it's not for the titles, but it is a tables match. We'll put an asterisk there just to. We have it's either gonna be Ash or Masha versus Indy, the Knockouts tag, Knockouts World. Sorry. see. Let's see. Got international Steve Macklin. This is Frankie. And we have System versus Order 4 in a hardcore war. Let's see. Get the spoilers. All right, so here's who we still have left while that loads. We have Joe Hendry. We have the Elegance brand, the Knockouts Tag Champs. We're gonna buy them. We got Inspiration. Have Jake something. Have who else? Leon Slater. Cedric Alexander. Eric Young. There's Saints. Apparently, Mr. Anderson is going to pop up soon on this episode of TNA. Sorry for this, folks. I'm not against that. Should be interesting to see what happens with
That's
him,
funny.
right?
So just go get off into a line of questioning asking you about would you make how like who what returns would you make to Bound for Glory? Because that it'll be stupid if they wouldn't do any returns.
You know, it would be, but also this is the new era of TNA, so like really anything is possible. Ooh, Mance Warner. There's another one who hasn't been Cardona. So who? Oh, jeez, who would I? That's a hard question, man. Like, who's left to bring back? That's the thing. Like,
I mean, well, Tessa's on suspension, right? I would imagine she'd immediately come out after that that knockout title match and restake her claim.
right? It looks like Judas
Also bring back
Icarus.
Rosemary.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Looks like Judas Icarus and Eric Young had a match on this week's show, so maybe their little group is broken up. Excuse me. Victoria Crawford's getting a lot of play. That's concerning. It looks like they're possibly doing Leon Slater and Alexander versus the Rascals. That could be a 5-man scramble match. And Ken and Steve being Jake something and Frankie. Is Jake a heel now? I don't know, man. All right, so I'm thinking we do Hendry versus something. Get something to rub, especially with Hendry on the way out. Right? I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. I think the Elegance brand versus the Inspiration. Personally, I'm not loving the idea of putting Leon in another grouping of matches with Cedric and the Rascals. Like, they're all great, but they all kind of suffer from the same issues where their personalities are kind of limited. So I'm gonna do something a little wild, right? Here, follow me here. I'm gonna do Leon Slater champ versus Mance Warner in a no DQ falls count anywhere X division. If TNA is smart, they'll book that because that's money. That's so fucking money.
That- that- Or would you bring back an OG to face him? Since they kind of but they didn't do a version that when Styles came back, that was a cool moment. But instead of this time giving him a verbal rub, give him a physical one.
Now listen, if you can get AJ Styles back and do Leon Slater versus Styles, yeah, absolutely. I don't think you're going to be able to. Let's say you do. Let's say worst. Let's say you can pull that off. Then I would do Mance Warner versus Matt Cardona. Hardcore War, because Steph Delander is Mance Warner's wife, but she's also
Yeah,
Matt Cardona's buddy. I think that could work. Um, and if you add Styles to
yeah, because she on
and
the map.
Slater, like if you add Styles and
Yeah,
Slater, changes the face of this card.
if you couldn't get Styles, of a quick list of former TNA X Division champions that you could pull, who would you get? Obviously, they're not going to be able to get Samoa Joe. Um, Austin, Austin Creed never had the title. Um, and they also not going to be able to get Jay Lethal either. But if you had to be able to pull somebody and it wasn't Styles off a list of ex champions, who would you get?
You're not gonna like the answer. It's Austin Aries.
It was in my head, and I hate you for it. Um,
It's Austin Aries.
yeah,
He's active with MLW. He's actually in the Opera Cup this year. He's getting back into shape. Not that he's out of shape, but like he's getting back into ring shape. He's got all sorts of like problematic histories. Like we know that, right? Like we know that. But also he's probably the best option. I'm sure he's willing to eat a loss to Leon Slater. He'll get a nice little payday. He'll get on Bound for Glory. But Low Key's way too dangerous. Edie Williams is
yeah,
retired,
Russell, right?
right? Second, my girl is. So like, you know, um, I'm just thinking like Jerry Lynn is 60. Styles isn't an option because obviously, Sean Waltman's retired.
Yeah,
Amazing Red,
yes,
but I don't think
can't
he has
get
the name value.
no, can't get Lashley.
Can't get Lashley,
First people.
right? He's elsewhere at the moment. I'm going through this chronologically. You can get Kazarian, but he's going to be with against uh, Macklin. You could get Matt Bentley, Shawn Michaels' cousin. That could be funny, right? That could be hilarious.
Does
Um,
Dutch still wrestle?
who?
Sanjay.
No, and he's with AEW. Jay Lethal's
Gotcha.
with
Yeah.
AEW. Who else? Douglas Williams is retired and doesn't have a big enough name. Tigre Uno. Eddie's already in a match.
And get Sonata.
Can't get Sonata. I really think Austin is probably your best option.
Yeah.
I just don't see AJ Styles being so like maybe Styles leaves, right? Maybe he actually does leave the division. I don't know when his contract is up, but like let's say it's up before Bound for Glory. Maybe you pull that off. Maybe you pull that off. I don't know. I doubt it. But I think Austin is a lot more financially in tune with what TNA is looking to spend. He's active with other promotions that TNA has a decent relationship with. We saw the same thing happen with Rich Swann, who was working with the NWA. He came back to TNA. Now, there's a name, Swann. Swann versus Slater could be interesting
Yeah.
if AJ Francis doesn't do anything. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that. Because AJ Francis can't do anything, you could do Swann. Swann would be enough, I think, as far as getting a rub because he's a former world champ. So why not? But I think best case scenario, Styles. Most intriguing scenario for Leon Slater, Mance Warner, because I think Mance Warner is the hardcore version of Leon minus the young 20-year-old buck. Mance is in his mid 30s, but Mance is also a developing new prospect, in the eyes of TNA, and he could be something. Be a lot of something. Give him the shot. I think he could be a lot of fun. Then I think you put guys like, assuming Cardona and Warner go to war, and Styles does show up. Assuming these two situations do in fact happen, I think you then take Cedric, Eric Young, Sinners and Saints, maybe Mr. Anderson, a few other wrestlers from the men's side of the things, AJ Francis, Rich Swann, the Rascals. You put them in that the Bound for Glory battle royal that we've been having every year or so, and maybe you bring in Richard Holiday, sign him to a deal. Maybe you bring back EC3. Now, here's a little inside baseball. I don't know if you guys are old enough for inside baseball at all, but still, I have it on good authority, great authority, that EC3 is looking to move on from the NWA. I won't go into the specifics, but he is displeased. And I think if he were to leave and if his contract is up anytime soon, I think TNA makes the most sense. I really do. And I think if they were to land EC3, while I don't think he's the star he was, 8 years ago when he was on top of the world before he went and had his entire reputation tanked by NXT and then Vince McMahon and Raw, I do think he still gives you a lot more to play with than someone like AJ Francis, who TNA is putting in title scenes. So that could be a lot of intrigue right there. I think that would be a realistic get for them too, personally. But overall, I gotta say I'm really underwhelmed with this card. Like, as it stands right
Okay.
now, like, I'm really underwhelmed because all of this right here, all this in blue, the knockout tag titles, the X Division match, the hardcore match, all that's none of that's guaranteed at all. And as it stands right now, the cards we do have just aren't that impressive. And I think when that's
Yeah.
the situation at hand, like there's nothing else to say but it looks bleak.
How many weeks out are we?
We're 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out. We're about 4 weeks out, maybe four and a half, because it's October 12th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're 5 weeks out. 5 weeks from Thursday. So we have 5 weeks of impacts to go. Plus we have, what was it? Unbreakable Victory Road. We have Victory Road coming up. And we have one match for Victory Road. And that's the 26th. So in about what, 3 weeks? Yeah, in 3 weeks we have Victory Road. We have one match set up, and Victory Road is two weeks away from Bound for Glory. The timing of all these shows just could not be worse. Just couldn't be fucking worse. Boy. So Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton are gonna team up against the like, aren't they both heels? I thought Tiffany Stratton
No,
and go on.
no, because remember in that feud with Charlotte, she ended up being the face.
But Tiffy time is a face? No.
And because you're seeing all this, next week is the NXT homecoming, so that's why you're seeing all these people come back.
Yeah, bringing back Tiffany Stratton to NXT is like bringing back the dog with fleas back to the pound. Like, do we really have fond memories?
Yes, yes.
Off-brand Mandy Rose is a big get for the NXT homecoming. You had Becky
Yeah.
Lynch. Now, granted, Becky Lynch's star has faded hard the last few years. Same with Charlotte. Couldn't do Bayley. People still like Bayley. Do Bayley.
I would hate for them to waste Bianca's return on the NXT thing. That be bigger.
And also, I don't
Uh,
like. I think Bianca's been great. I don't think she was a great NXT star. I think I think she's in a lot of ways. I think she's like Tom Brady, decent college career. No one was really talking about him. Came up, and then all of a sudden, Drew Bledsoe rips a blood vessel in his chest, and Tom Brady steps in.
Yeah,
I think that is the best way to describe Bianca. Her NXT run, I don't remember being impressive at all. But her main event, her main roster run has been fantastic.
yeah.
So who is this chick? Oh, is that Rhea Ripley?
You're
Okay,
ahead of me.
okay.
Oh
That
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
that I did not
That
expect
that
it.
that worked.
Right? I didn't
That worked.
expect
Didn't
her.
expect that either.
No, I didn't expect her. But then again, she also didn't look like Rhea Ripley at first. I'm like, what nameless, faceless NXT drone is that?
Yeah, and she didn't. This is her final form. She was getting to this through NXT. She was pretty much. She was blonde the last time she was in NXT,
Mm-hmm. I
and
gotta,
stockier.
I gotta admit, that was my favorite word. The goth emo Judgment Day Rhea, not for me. I'm just Shawn Michaels and Triple H are doing themselves no fucking justice whatsoever by having their top three female heels cower. I understand that you have arguably two of your biggest names on the main roster and Stephanie Vaquer, who is, coming up. But if you're going to use them in NXT, you should use them to make NXT talent look better. Now, you don't have a trio like this lose, right? But you could at least have them go hard. And I never understood this 1984 fucking style booking. Scary little face. I'm scared of the face. Oh no. Stupid. Just fucking stupid. Is this the main event for
Yeah,
next week? Trick and I can't remember his fucking name.
it, it tricking Carmelo versus DIY. Yeah, that might be the main event, or they could switch it out with this. But they likely gonna do the dudes probably. Stephanie and Rhea got enough talent to where Tiff don't even have to get in the ring. Um, yeah, like you said, they're not gonna have that squad lose, and it's not a the talent differential is insane in that particular contest. Ricky Saints versus Overfemi could be interesting.
So they're doing the Wallen effect next week. So it's not even the match. They're gonna save that, I guess, for a pay per view. Sorry, Peel.
Yeah,
I saw that they were doing Tyler Breeze versus Ethan Page, and I need to be honest with you. I was watching that flag match with what's his name? Definitely not Xavier Creed. Xavier Woods.
yeah.
Sorry, I used his TNA name. What is his name?
God,
It's
he's a
like
part of. I want to say he's a part of the no quarter cash crew or something.
yeah, and I want to say it's like,
Um,
not Isaiah, but it's something. Harley? Tavion Heights. I was very wrong.
yeah,
I was very wrong. Tavion Heights defeated Ethan Page in a flag match. Didn't even win the title off him, and then all of a sudden, fucking Tyler Breeze shows up. But during that match, Marcus, I hand to God, hand to God, I thought to myself, why is Tavion Heights facing off with Austin Theory in a flag match where Theory is representing Canada? And then it took me a second to realize, oh, that's Ethan Page, not Austin Theory. They just had the same facial hair and haircut.
Mhm.
Yikes. I digress, though. As bad as NXT is, TNA is worse. We have 3 weeks out. We have one match for Victory Road. One match. I don't know what the tickets are doing for their Edmonton show, but I can't imagine it's doing well when you only have one match, and it's one of the worst possible matches you could have booked. Ash versus Masha. Who the fuck signing up to see that atrocity? Like, hey, do you want to come and buy this really hot pepper? It'll make you blind. You have any other foods? Yes, but this is the only one we're telling you about. No, I don't want to come then. I already know that if this is the best you have to offer initially, the rest of it's going to be worse.
I hate to say it, man. They about to make me like swap out my promotions and put TNA on the black burner for foreseeable future for Ring of Honor. They've been they've been banging it out.
Yeah, well, when you got Athena, God, I would love to sit here and shadow book Ring of Honor and get them on a network because I would move Brian Danielson to commentary, maybe even as a manager, maybe as a part time wrestler. I would be like, hey, Nigel, you want to run? Get Nigel in the ring on a monthly basis. Get Samoa Joe over there as champion. Just bring in all the Ring of Honor guys and then start building up a new type of brand and like have it be a parallel but separate brand from TNA, not TNA, AEW, where you would have the flashier, higher end, um, modern athletic style with your Will Ospreays and Kyle Fletchers, and then Ring of Honor can embrace that old school Kings Road mentality where it's just beating the shit out of each other. And I think if you did that, you'd be able to raise the Ring of Honor profile while separating the two brands, giving them both legs to tour, and also making you more money. But I'm not Tony Khan. I'm just smart. Not to say Tony Khan isn't. I've seen a lot of morons. Can't say Tony Khan's one of them. Triple H is one of them though. So yeah, Marcus, any final thoughts on this week?
I just like I said, this is the most like ho hum I've been about the company in a long time. It's just at first there was a little bit of potential spark with uh whole partnership, but thankfully you've been booing it since its inception, even before its inception, all the way till now. So kudos to you for staying 10 toes down with the whole thing. It's just I don't know. They obviously retooling. They obviously, I would imagine, still trying to get this deal that I hope they do get. But the level of talent they've allowed to fall through their hands, the inability to replace those talent with reputable names or these names with you know similar skill set, if not outright popularity, and these, like you said, these just whole hum book shows that are not really getting the visibility they need because the audience isn't really there. Although I'm guessing they close to or have sold out Bound for Glory.
They have not.
That's the narrative.
They have not sold it
Oh,
out.
but
I'm sure they may, but we haven't seen anything happen yet. Time will tell. Like
yeah,
the
and
ring of shows have suggested that they should be able to. Slammiversary pulled in 7,000, so
yeah,
maybe Bound for Glory can do the same. That being said, two things. I feel like Hannibal Buress when he screamed, "Why are you booing me? I'm right." When it comes to the state of TNA right now, I feel like Hannibal. Why were you disagreeing with me? Not to you, to the people. I was right. So
yeah.
there's that. Lastly, though, on a more somber note, indie icon, and I use that term pretty sincerely. Jaka retired, not retired. Sorry, that was that was a slip of the tongue. He didn't retire. He passed away. I think there were rumors that he was going to retire, but he had a heart attack. I think after his
Mm.
most recent match. I saw last match, and it kind of made my head think that it was his retirement match, and that he was retiring afterwards. But he wasn't really wrestling that much anymore. Um, he was pretty big in the early 2010s. Huge in Shikara, huge in Beyond, FIP. For those of you who remember FIP, World Wrestling Network, he was really fun to watch, and a lot of people seem to think very highly of him. He even helped Shikara during their weird timeline where they stopped running shows in like 2012, I think, and started doing their wrestling is grouping of shows. Wrestling is fun. Wrestling is this. Wrestling is that. It's all just Shikara shows, but with a different name, right? He's someone that I think if you watch Shikara around that time period, you'll have fond memories of. And he had a huge impact on the area that he was in and work with Beyond. He touched a lot of people's lives. He was a big enough name where even mainstream outlets have covered his passing. It's unfortunate. It is sad, and
Yeah.
he won't soon be forgotten. So rest in peace to Jaka.
RP.
So with that being said, we're gonna call it. Be sure to check us out next week when we come back to talk about our. I think we're gonna do a tier list of TNA's biggest signings and where they should fall. Should they fall in the best signings of all time, or should they fall in the category somewhere in between, or at the bottom, signings that ruin the company? We'll give you a hint. Kurt Angle's in one, Hulk Hogan's in the other, and no, there's no surprises as to which one lands where. So tune in next week to find out more. For Marcus, I'm Chad. Be sure to follow us on the website at realnerdcorp.com, REALNERDCRP.com. We're on Twitter at NERDCRP. We are on our personals. Marcus, you can be found at Paradox Kid, PARADOXKID.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcast, also available on Twitter at The True Penny Show, TRUENNYSHOW. Check out True Penny Show. They'll be talking about some international stuff, I'm sure, here coming up. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Spudohut, CHADSPHOTOHUT. Nope, that's my Instagram, CHADSPHOTOHUT. Chad Spudohut. I know how to spell it. You can also find me on the Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, CHDNERDCRP. It's been a long day. Find us on YouTube and Twitch at Wrestling Underground. And yeah, for Marcus, I'm Chad. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. Remember, as always, to watch more wrestling. Marcus, it's late. Take us home.
No.